All right, let's take a look. This is in the field, obviously, in the lab, in the shop. This clearance from here to here is lower than the height of this block. If it wasn't, I could do it a different way. So this time what I'm going to do is chew off, because I want this to be down in here. I'm going to chew off an inch to an inch and a half, depending on where I'm at, and come across. So that's the project for today. Let's see how it does. We're going to speed this up so you can see it. It starts cutting up at the end. There's 2 inches between the tip of the bit and the base of the CNC. So I can reach out 2 inches and then cut it off. And that's what I'm doing. It's cutting down fairly well. I'm going to move the camera here in a few seconds or minutes, and you'll see it jump around to the other side. So it's cutting it down. I'm using a 1/4 inch bit. I'm cutting 0.125 each pass, and it's running at 100 inches per minute. So it's moving along pretty fast. This is sped up, obviously, but we're going to take a look. This didn't work the way I had it laid out, and you'll see in a minute why. It basically crashes into the dust collection system, starts hitting it. See it up there? So I lift it up a little bit, and it just doesn't work. It's actually throwing it off. So now we'll switch and try it a different way. What I've done is went back to the drawing board and changed the program. And there's a second part of this, B and C, if you will, that shows how I laid this out so I could do it. And what I'm trying to do is cut that off so that the back part of the CNC can float above that wood. And if you look now, I'm actually over the top of the wood with the back half of the CNC structure, or the carriage, and it's not hitting the wood. So I'm taking it down 3/4 of an inch, and you can see that it doesn't hit. And what I did is I changed it so I wasn't going so deep, and just enough to add that clearance so that I could clear it and then move to the next section. I'm doing 2-inch swaths at a time because 2 inches is how much distance there is, actually about 2.5 is the distance between the bit and the carriage. So that way, once I clear it out, I can move over that part, and you can see that I am doing that. So it clears it out, cleans it up, and takes another pass. It's doing a pocket cut. And a pocket cut basically is easy to use tool. You just tell it how deep you want to go and where you want to start and so on. I just threw a bunch of sawdust up there to get it out of the way, let it suck it all up so I didn't have to later. And it's going to do one final pass. If you notice that it's almost down to the end of the project. The final pass goes 1.5, I believe, deep and clears it out all the way. It does a pretty good job, as you'll see at the end. I'll speed the rest of this up so you can see it, and then we'll look at the final part. This is the way it was mounted. We've cleaned off this surface so it's nice and flat and level. And that was the goal. Now when we hang it on the wall, it'll mount flush to the wall. It won't be all twisted and warped hanging on the wall. We've also reduced the mass so it's not as heavy as it was. And we've made it flat enough that when I'm working here, it'll slide underneath the CNC. You see it? So that's what the goal was, to get it so the CNC could pass over it and make it carving. So now it'll fit under the CNC. I can carve on it to make the shape I want. So I'm going to put a pretty beautiful carving into this cherry wood. Cherry wood before, a couple of them that I've done in cherry have been really beautiful. But I don't have the handsaw and a few other things I need to cut this. So what I've done is cut it using my CNC, a tool that I have. And it didn't really take that long. It took about an hour, but I didn't attend it. In other words, I started it, let it run, and it carved it down beautifully for me. I'd come out and check on it every once in a while, but it came out pretty well. I'm happy with it, and hopefully you've learned something. So if you've got a piece that won't fit under your CNC, you don't have a bandsaw that's set up for resawing, and this one was pretty whacked anyway. Try to resaw it. You didn't really have a straight edge to work off of, because if you notice, this surface, whether you can see it or not, is curved dramatically, so I can't use that against my fence to create that back level plane. But I can do that very well, as you saw, with my CNC. So have fun with your CNC, and you can use it to replace quite a few different tools. If you're not doing a bunch of production on it, you can see that you can do that and have fun with it. So you have a great day, and talk to you later. If you have any comments or questions, please let me know.